Hey scholars, I just want to work two problems from the ellipse homework with you, and then think about this is the last video you have to watch before spring break, so I think you'll be good. So let's do a couple. I'm going to do ones that I didn't give you examples in the notes, but are very, very helpful because you have to know your information, right? Basically, let's go right here. Let's do number 25, okay? On number 25, you are given the two foci, okay? And that's, remember, the foci is using the center and C to get there. And so we're at 0, 0, and 0, 8. And they also give you the major axis length. Now remember, the major axis tells you, my friends, how long that line segment is that goes between the two vertices. And remember, the foci is laying on the major axis. So the key with this one is making sure that you actually graph. All right, so the foci, we're going to do them in orange, are going to be at 0, 0, and the other one is at 0, 8. Well, what that is telling us is that the major axis is going this direction, my friends, okay? So as a result, we need to remember a few key pieces of information. The center is going to be smack dab between the vertices, and it's going to be smack dab in the middle of the two foci. So when I look at this, and I'm going from 0, 0 to 0, 8, that means my center is at 0, 4. So my friends, we just figured out when we work with that, our center. So our center, so we know H and K now, is 0, 4. We can now use that to solve for C, which is going to help us solve for the other ones, okay? So we know C is the distance between the focus and the center, and that is going to be a distance of 4. Between, to get to 4 to 8, it's 4. So we know C is 4. Now we also know A. Okay, the major axis length is really the distance from, and this is not drawn to scale, between the two vertices, which is really 2b, because remember, to get to the vertex, it's 2b, it's 2a, excuse me, is 2a. You got to go a distance from the center. Well, so if I know the length of it, that's going to be 2a is equal to the length of my major axis. That's 30c. A is going to be 18. Okay, scholars, and here's the other piece of information you need to realize. If they tell you minor axis like number 23, that would be 2b is equal to its length. Okay, so now other piece of information we need is going to be b squared. I really don't need b because of that. Plus, what form is this one going to be? Well, this one's going to be long because of where the foci are going vertically. So the form of the equation I'm working with is x minus h squared over b squared plus the quantity y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. So notice we have a, we have the center, but we don't have b, or b squared. So we're going to use our equation, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. C is the distance that we use to draw the ellipse, like in the video at the beginning of the lesson. So we plug in what we know. This is going to be 4 squared. A squared is 18 squared minus b squared. So we get 16 equals to 324 minus b squared. Subtract the 324. Again, negative 308 equals a negative b squared. Get rid of that negative. And here's the thing. I'm stopping there because do I need b or do I need b squared? I just need b squared. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're going to put it in. So we get here, put in our values. Here's our h and k. So we get here x minus 0 squared all over 308 plus the quantity y minus k, k is 4. Let me put 4 in there, squared. And then a squared is what? Well, a squared is 324. All right, so this, if we write it now, one more step, we go x squared, because we don't need to go x minus 0, over 308 plus the quantity y minus 4 squared over 324 is equal to 1. So that would be the final one for 25. All right, Now let's do a hard one together where you have to pull out your center, foci, and vertices. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this one has pretty nasty numbers, okay? But the process is very important that you understand. So looking at this one, I'm going to look at number 41, and we get the following. 6x squared plus 2y squared plus 18x minus 10y plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, few little nitpicky things about your lessons. Guys, follow directions. I'm grading. I looked at a couple people's homework assignments before I decided to do this, and people didn't follow directions. Like they didn't find the center, the vertex, the foci. The directions for this said, find the standard form of the equation, and then find the center, vertices, and foci. And then it says sketch the ellipse. It says use a graphing utility. I didn't teach you how to use it on the graphing utility, so that's why you can use a calculator on the quiz. But you have to have the center, vertices, and foci. If you don't answer those questions, you didn't complete the problem. So please make sure you're following those. All right, first thing you're going to do is you're going to move your constant over and you're going to group your values. So I got 6x squared plus 18x plus 2y squared minus 10y equals a negative 2. All right, so now we're going to do the completing the square part, but I have to take out greatest common factors so I can do it easily. So I got 6 times the quantity x squared plus 3x plus blank plus 2 times the quantity y squared minus 5y plus blank equals a negative 2 plus blank plus blank. Okay, so next, okay, so here's what we do. We're going to take half of 3. Half of 3 is 3 over 2. You square it, that's 9/4. And then you will have to multiply 6 to 9/4. Well, that ends up being 27 over 2 when you do that. And yes, you can use your calculator for that. You can go 6 times 9/4 on your calculator. Now, same type of scenario here. We get negative 5 over 2 squared. That's going to give us 25 over 4, but I got to go 2 times 25 over 4, which actually ends up being 25 over 2. Okay, so on this side, my friends, we're going to get 6 times the quantity, x plus 3 over 2 squared. How did I get the 3 over 2? Because that's what I divide the 3 by. It's positive. Plus 2 times the quantity, y minus 5 over 2 squared is equal to, all right, what do we get here? I see 27 plus 25. That's going to give us 52 over 2. But we have a negative 2, which is going to be a negative 4. So 52, a negative 4. That's going to end up being 48 over 2, which is equal to 24. So here's the other way of doing it. It's much easier. Put that all on your calculator and tell me what you get. Okay, 24. All right, now remember, to be in standard form for an ellipse, you have to equal 1. So we divide everything by 24. So I get here the quantity, x plus 3 over 2 squared all over 4 plus y minus 5 over 2 squared all over 12 is equal to 1. Now, here's where it's going to be very important for you at this point to remember what form we are. A squared is always the biggest one. So I know a squared is 12. That also lets me know, since it's under the y, that my graph is stretching this way. So let's go ahead and do a quick graph and see if that helps us. I'm going to make this a little bit larger, my friends. See if we can understand where this is going, okay? So with this one, my friends, our center, if we look at our form, is going to be a negative 3.5, 5 over 2. Now, those of you who think decimals, it's a negative 1.5, 2.5, okay? Now, I'm going to, of course, leave it as a fraction, but you guys, those of decimals, this is where it is. So I got to go over here, and we're going to go, make sure I got my values here, a negative 1.5, which is right here, and I'm going up to 2.5. So there's your center. But then I'm going to have to add or subtract. To get my vertices, I've got to use a. Okay? So I take the square root of 12. and that's going to give me 2 root 3. So I have to add a 2 root 3. Now we're going the long way, which means I have to add it this direction and this direction on my ellipse. So, okay, 2 root 3, that means I do it vertically, is really the following. Negative 3 halves, then it's 5 halves plus or minus 2 root 3. Good enough for me. Now, 2 root 3, what is that about? Well, let's remember 4 squared is 16 and 3 squared is 9. So we're between 3 and 4. So we just got to go up 1, 2, 3, close up here. Then we got to go like 1, 2, 3, and we're like right here. I'm not overly worried about if your vertices are perfectly graphed in this diagram, but we get the gist of it. Now, we still have to solve for C. C is always with the focus. C is always with the focus with the parabola as well. And we got to remember C squared equals A squared minus B squared. Well, remember this is B squared, 4 is. So we go, okay, C squared equals 12 minus 4. So C squared equals 8. We take the square root of it. C is equal to plus or minus 2 root 2. Okay. Now, we're going to do it the same way. The foci is going to be closer than, I'm just doing a quick rough right here, than the vertices. So when we do that, okay, we know it's going to, we're still adding onto the y values instead of the x because I had to go up and I had to go down to get there. So my foci are going to be the problem. Negative 3 halves doesn't change, but it's 5 over 2, and we're at plus or minus 2 root 2. And that would be it. So that's my foci. Guys, that's everything you need. Now, the only thing I really need now is to graph it, is I need to know b. Well, b is 2, and so I just got to go 2 to the right. So we're at 1.5, so we're right over here. Got to go 2 to the right, left. There's my co-vertices. I just take it between my vertices, and there is my ellipse. Now, those numbers are pretty nasty. Just know that if you get a fraction, don't freak out. Just keep going with it. Use your calculator, double check your math, but you guys can definitely do these. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful spring break. Make sure you get your mock quiz done tonight. And if you have any questions, don't forget to call me at 630-293-5917. Hey, and remember, email me your no, actually don't email your mock quiz. That's just silly of me. Please just submit your mock quiz and after you've graded it to make sure how you did. Thanks a lot, my friends. You're going to have a great spring break. You guys have been doing great. Keep up the hard work.